see. It says I've started broadcasting. It doesn't say I'm live. There's no live streams, probably. Am I live now? How do I tell? There's not enough control. There's not enough control on the software to tell. It says I'm live up here, but it also says there's nobody watching. So give me a second. That might mean that there's not available. Where is my stream located? That's the thing I want to know. Where is it located? See, I might be live now. Okay, it says I'm live now. So does that mean there's a chat for this? Alright, let me see if that works. I'm sending you guys links. I don't know if you can see me or hear me yet, but I'm sending you guys links to the new stream. Because again, I had to reload it. Apparently you have to reload a completely different thing because I changed the resolution and the frame rate of the stream itself. So, okay, good. You guys have HD now? That's awesome. So, let me know how the sound is. I have very little control over this software compared to OBS, but the upside is Skyrim can now look really beautiful, and you can see it in good HD and good texturing and all sorts of other stuff. And if this is stable, which I believe it to be, I just have like the most basic of characters possible here. I've got a ton of mods installed, and it actually seems pretty good. I think once you get the hang of like how mods work and conflicts and trying to figure out what's clashing with other things, everything seems to work. The only downside to this, the only problem I'm having, is that my tree lot, my level of detail in the distance for trees, does not match. It's not the same shade as the trees up close. That's the only thing I have that's bugging me right now. Oh, and the other thing that's bugging me is that I can't see my console with my camera in the way. Yeah, set AV. The good news about this, though, is I can... Oh, see, I can't see what I'm doing here. Yeah, I don't want speed multi, I want speed mult. The good news about this setup, though, at least so far, is that I can actually see my camera overlay on my actual screen, which is interesting. I'd never had that before when I was gaming before, so that's cool. Sound does sound a bit grainy. Well, then it's probably because my microphone is either too low or too high. I don't know. Yeah, let me know how the sound is. Give me 1 second. I need to get the... Okay. So I think that should take care of my stability testing requirements. Yep. So I'm pulling 47 frames per second right here. You may notice Whiterun looks very detailed. You probably will also notice that we've got some hanging lanterns here. That's pretty nice. Good wood texturing. The ropes actually look like they're somewhat 3D, which is good. 45 frames per second here. There's also like this marketplace outside of Whiterun. If we come up here a little bit, you'll see there's like this marketplace outside of Whiterun. And this marketplace is because we have enhanced towns and cities installed, which is I'm really excited about. There's extra buildings, extra scenery, tons of NPCs. We have interesting NPCs, inconsequential NPCs. I don't think I'm going to install OBS, that's Organized Bandits of Skyrim. I don't think I'm going to install that only because there has been numerous accounts of not just balance issues, but also conflicts with another mod I have called ASUS, which ASUS, it gives spells, it gives perks, it gives increased spawns and stuff to NPCs. So all of the spells I have access to, including everything that comes with Percus Maximus, everything that comes with the Apocalypse spell package, all of that stuff is available to the NPCs. They're all available to my enemies too. So I'm really excited to see what happens there. But this is This is, yeah, expanded towns and cities. We have a whole big like market expansion to Whiterun out here, which is pretty nice. We also have our view distance is greatly increased. Look at the trees all the way up there. View distance is way increased. And this, for those of you who mod Skyrim, I have not done anything to the U-grids. U-grids are 5. Have not touched them. This is all being done by a tool called Dindulad, Dynamic Level of Detail. It basically makes... It basically took a second and generated all these billboards. All the 2D images for the distance, so I can see good detail in the distance. For weather and for ENB, because we are running with an ENB, that's going to affect frame rates too. For weather and ENB, we're all using Vivid and Vivid Landscapes and Vivid Weathers and Vividian as a ENB as well. So we're kind of keeping it all in the same. I'm trying to keep it all in the same modders if I can. Sort of limit the conflicts that might arise from having multiple mods. And I'm just basically, yeah, trying my best here to kind of keep this to be precisely what I need it to be. Now, you'll notice I'm running really, really fast, and we're not really getting all that much of frame rate loss. So far, I have yet to have a crash doing this. I'm going to say that, and then it's going to crash. But so far, I have yet to have a crash doing this. I think the one thing I don't like about this arrangement for streaming is that it's really hard to see your comments. Let me see if I can fix that. If I put this here, okay, looks like, yeah, I think this is gonna work. Okay, so now I can see this. Okay, now I can see the comments. Good, good, good. So open broadcast software is really great. It's a really great tool, but unfortunately, if you're playing a really graphics-intensive game, it's not that great. And that's what Skyrim is. At least it is when I do it. I mean, look at these. Look at this rocks. The rocks, the dirt, the texturing on this stuff. Check out the wood, right? Just look at this wood, guys. Look at that wood. It looks so good. Oh, the wood looks so good. Here's another sample. Right? We even have some light coming through the leaves, right? It's just barely like little tiny patches of light rubbing up against the bark. It's so immersive. I love it. It's so good. So, yeah, it's pretty great. So I think what I'm probably going to do, since I have this stable, I'm probably going to play the series with this. I'm not going to play the remaster, because there's no reason to play the remaster, because this looks better than the remaster does. You know? If it already looks better than the remaster, there's no reason to play the remaster. That's pretty much it. The problem with the remaster, I'm gonna let the NPCs move around a bit. The problem with the remaster is that there's no script extender for it. There's no SKSE. There's no script extender, which means there's no Sky UI, which means there's no MCM, and it also means that any mods that rely on those things, they can't be in the game. And that's a deal breaker for me. I was sitting here like, I put out a video a little while ago. I said, I'm gonna do the remaster. It looks great. It's gonna work. It's gonna be awesome. And then, like 2 hours after I put that video out, I just got an update. I was looking at Reddit and I went, oh no SKSE, and the developers behind SKSE they're not working on it anymore. And the people who built that tool are no longer building that tool. And then the guy who does Sky UI, he's not working on Sky UI anymore either. And so, like, I'm not going to have a mod configuration manager where I can go in and tweak settings, which I actually kind of like this ENB because Vivid Weathers has configuration settings for the ENB right in here. It's pretty cool. So I can turn like Vividian has a really saturated colors. I didn't like that. I didn't want it to be like really dent or really bad, or like really desaturated, like bleak. But I didn't like the default. It was too bright. I'll show you what it is now. You'll see it. The colors will just start popping. Boom. See how bright that is? It's just like, I don't want it to be this bright. The trees are just stupid bright. All the colors are just way oversaturated for me. But thankfully, this ENB has configuration settings built right in here. I don't have to tweak any of the INI files for it. I can just come in here and say I want low. And it'll do that. Bloom, same thing. I don't even know, like maybe I do medium instead. And boom, just like that, you know? We're back to having this, I think, more reasonable, more reasonable levels of color. I like it. I've also got grass mods installed, although if I move really fast, the grass doesn't really render in very well. Actually, it's not rendering in here at all. Let's go this way. Maybe the grass will start rendering again. You can kind of see the grass. I have it turned to where, or I have the grass tuned to where it doesn't really get really thick. I would like it thicker, but unfortunately when streaming, I can't have it thicker than this, otherwise it really kills the frame rates. Oh, it just registered 2 new menus. What? Oh, here we go. Enhanced towns and cities. So, it's pretty cool. You can enable certain types of clutter, toggle bright lighting. Yeah, let's try that. I don't know. Toggles brighter lights in towns for those having trouble seeing at night. We'll see what it looks like. Birds of Skyrim. Interesting NPCs. We need to enable this. Make sure it's placed above in your load order. Yes, I did that. Use 3D chain mesh. Yes, do that. Cool. So all sorts of things, you know, to kind of just play around with and try to figure out whether or not we can get this to work. And it seems to work really great. The only downside I have, the only complaint I have, really, is that the detail textures of those trees back there, they don't match. Like the green is too green. It doesn't match the darkness I have for the regular trees. And so as I move closer to those trees, then they begin to render. Like watch that tree right there, right? Those trees right behind that building, right? So I go over there, and then they become darker, you know? That's the only thing I don't like, but that's a pretty small complaint. It's kind of immersion breaking, a little bit. It's a little immersion breaking, but yeah. But overall, I think I can live with that. For a stable Skyrim that looks this good, yeah. I think I can live with that. Let's take a look inside Whiterun. I'm going to show you guys inside Whiterun. Actually, just check out like the stones, right? All the stone textures, all the wall textures, they've all been redone, remastered all over again, and like they're way sharper than remastered ever will be. Skyrim remastered will not look this good, period. And like the water effects are better in this than they are in the remastered version. Look at this wood, right? This deck is all really nice now. Looks really good. Take a look at these chains, right? They're all 3D now, and there's these 2D crap. We have moss on the rocks. Very cool. Yeah, I'm digging it. Let's take my speed. I'm going to put my speed down to like 300. Oh, that's 3,000. That's not what I want. 300. There we go. And there, that's better. Okay, let's go inside Whiterun. Whew. Yeah, I'm sorry about the YouTube compression. Again, I don't know if it's on my end or if it's on the streamer's end. I don't know how that works yet. I haven't had a chance to look at it. So this is the first time I've used this tool. My first initial test with this tool is right now. But I'm just kind of giving you guys a tour of some of the mods I have. I will have a link in the description of this video when it's done. That will take you to an updated mod list, but for now I don't have it updated yet because I wasn't sure if this was stable, but I'm pretty convinced it's stable at this point. We've got Signs of Skyrim, so that looks good, right? We have whole bunch of different signs. They've all been redone. And we also, if you look really closely, you can kind of see it's moving a little bit with the wind. This is a heavier sign, so it's not moving as much, but like this one up here is a little lighter. You can see it kind of moves with the wind, right? It's pretty cool. That's another mod called, I think, Blowing in the Wind, I think. Vividian EMB and a couple of other mods for fire and embers and smoke effects and stuff are all producing this really great smoke coming from this fire, which is pretty nice. All the brick has all been redone, retextured, everything there. One thing I haven't done is the food. So I think the food actually needs a little bit of work. It looks okay. But I think there's certain things I haven't had in order. Now, another thing I've changed is I've changed all of the faces. All right. Now, this I think people are going to like this. This is, I think the mod is called it'll be in the description down below, but I think it's WSCO is the initials for it. Essentially, it's an overhaul for characters in Skyrim. It's an overhaul that basically overhauls all the faces. So if I look at this guy's face, it looks a lot more detailed. If I can get him to, it's a lot more detailed. Take a look at her face. Right? So it changes them up, and I like it a lot. I also have extra beards.
The plains outside Whiterun are ripe with game.
Look at it. Super high textures. Look at his skin. Like, you can see the pores, the veins in his arm. Cool. Nice hair, right? Good hair. Beards. All sorts of stuff. And there's so many different unique hairstyles and beards now that, like, finding people that have the same is going to be a lot less frequent, which is pretty cool. Now, the guards, I was going to have open face guard helmets. It looks like some of them do, but I think they do in vanilla too. I'm not sure. What else was I going to show you guys? What's this guy doing? Look at that beard. I'm digging it. I'm digging it a lot. It's really great. Oh, Khajiits and Argonians have also been changed. If I can find a Khajiit, which probably my best chance at finding a Khajiit is on the road. Just outside the city. Oh, man, this is great. And it's the thing is like you don't even need that powerful of machine to handle what I have. Okay? So, for example, my 980 Ti has 6 gigabytes of VRAM. However, because I'm using Windows 10, and this is actually what was crashing me. This is the reason why I was crashing a lot before. Because I'm using Windows 10, I'm limited to 4 gigabytes of VRAM usage with DirectX 9 applications. DirectX 11 is not a problem, so the remastered version wouldn't be a problem. But with DirectX 9 and Windows 10, and it exists in Windows 8 too, you're limited to 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And as soon as you go over that, the engine, like DirectX crashes, and that's the thing that was crashing me. Now, there were some crashes to desktop that I had that were because of mod conflicts. I had those too, and I sorted those out, and I had to make some concessions. There's some things I just simply cannot have because there's something I want more, and it conflicts with that, and I just wasn't aware. Things like battle fatigue and injuries. It's just not working well with some of my other mods that are like meshing with needs and stuff. It's just not working, so that's fine. We are going to have realistic needs and diseases. We have Deadly Dragons. This is another one that requires SKSC, right? So if I was going to play the remastered version, I wouldn't be able to have Campfire, wouldn't be able to have Deadly Dragons. No Dindula, that wouldn't work anyway. I wouldn't be able to have Extended UI, I don't think. I wouldn't be able to have Frostfall. I don't think the overhaul for knockouts would be affected by it. Realistic needs, I'd be able to have some of the functionality, but not all of it. I wouldn't be able to have any of the configuration options. I wouldn't be able to modify or edit it. I would get the little text notifications, and that's about it, I think. I don't think, obviously EMBs probably would be out the door unless Boris updates it. There's a lot of mods that I have that I just simply wouldn't be, like the whole fact that I have a configuration menu, I wouldn't be able to have that either. So let's come down here. I wouldn't be able to have Percus Maximus, my entire perk overhaul system that I have installed. I wouldn't be able to have that either. Extended UI, showing me more details about things, wouldn't be able to have that either. So, like, there's a lot of mods that are just not going to... And when I say it wouldn't be able to have it, I don't mean I'd have to wait a little bit to get it. I mean it flat out wouldn't come to remastered, at least not for a couple of months. You know, at best, a few weeks. So, I mean, maybe I wait a month and it would work, but at best, that's what it would be. But with Percus Maximus installed, I have Wayfarer and Dexterity, which is pretty cool. Dexterity kind of combines lockpicking and sneak and pickpocketing kind of things. I think it's just actually called Dexterity. It combines all those things into one skill, which is kind of nice. I've also defluffed. Anyone who's familiar with Percus Maximus knows that your descriptions of your perks are a little bit, they call it fluffed. Essentially, it's instead of saying your pickpocketing goes up 10%, the text would actually say, you know, your keen sense of something allows you to pick swiftly from the pockets of those around you. Like something really vague like that, and you wouldn't quite know what you're getting, which some people like that. I don't. I want to know exactly what effects are coming from this. The cool thing about Percus Maximus, though, is that you are rewarded for really investing in certain perks. Like, for instance, when I up my destruction ability, not only do I get 15% cheaper and stronger, which is great, but I also get a random spell at this level. So, like, through the art of practicing magic, you may learn something new, which I think is kind of nice. Another cool sign. I can bump into these and bump them around. Got a cart over here. All the carts have guards, or guards watching them. So here's a carriage guard. I don't know if vanilla had this. I've had so many mods in Skyrim for a while that I'm starting to forget what parts, like little details like this, whether or not carts had that. But all the carriages have guards now. So this is like a carriage. This is like the guy that does the carriage, but like the carriage is being watched by her, which is kind of nice. This market, everything's up for sale. I've got Trade and Barter installed as well as a mod. Trade and Barter is going to make trade and bartering and buying from shops and stuff a little bit more realistic to, I don't want to say realistic, but it's going to make it to where like little shops in this way off in this nook, they don't just have 1,000 gold on them. Like this is a really little shop. They wouldn't have a ton of money on them. To where stores that are in bigger places or in the bigger cities, they might have more money on them. So rather than having to be able to just go to, you know, the Whiterun general store, right? You know, to where the guy can tell you he'd sell his sister if he wanted him. Rather than just going there and he has this fixed amount of money and you just go there every 2 days and he'll have that money again, it's a little bit better than that. A little bit more realistic, a little bit more difficult to just purge money like that. Because it all kind of depends on how busy that place would actually be. And since I've got a whole bunch of NPC mods installed, things can be busier than usual, which is nice. This mod is called Point the Way. It's a mod that adds to existing signs, but it also adds other signs throughout Skyrim. So we don't just get signs to big places, we can get signs to like every little place. So I can see the direction I'm going. And another mod I want to show you, and I have to come this way in order to show it to you. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering where the lanterns came from, this is Lanterns of Skyrim, and it's sort of lighting the paths, which is really nice. Come down through here. Okay, another thing you're going to notice, and this is because of Din Dulad, dynamic, again, level of detail. And it's a little bit difficult to get Din Dulad set up, honestly. And the Din Dulads that I have installed are, like the LODs that I have running are really low quality because I didn't want the frame rate loss. So they're really low quality. I've got high density, so I get all the rocks and stuff all the way up the mountains, right? All the rocks and the terrain, all the little bumps and hills. They're all pretty good. All the trees and stuff. Like, look at the trees all the way back there. Like all the way back there, you can get trees, which are nice. But they're all really, really small. Like they're all really, really small textures. So I'm hoping that doesn't really get me a bad frame rate loss. I really like the fog that's coming in. Vivid Weathers has 500 different weathers that it introduces into the game. And it's not entirely random. It is by geographic location, so you will get more snows, heavier blizzards. There's like 15 different snows. It doesn't just snow like it does in base Skyrim. It's not like, oh, it's snowing. No, there's like freaking blizzards. It doesn't just rain. There's a storm. It blows wind. It moves things across the screen across from you. But at the same time, I also have, for thunderstorms, I've also installed some lightning mods that will add some lightning effects. So we can actually see lightning when there's an actual storm, which is nice. What else? Here's all the grass. This is, I think the mod's just called Unbelievable Grass. I might be wrong on that. Again, in the description of this video, I will have I'll have a link to the updated mod list so you guys can see.
I'm on my way to Windhelm to join up with the Stormcloaks.
That's good.
Ulfric has the right of it.
Yes. Yeah, cool. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys another mod that I've got installed. And you might see a little bit of it here. Notice there's puppies. See there's little ones? There's little wolves and stuff too. And this is from immersive creatures. So we have a lot of different creatures, a lot of different things are being introduced with not just people and not just textures and game mechanics, but also completely new beasts to tame. And little tiny puppies are some of them. There's big giant tundra spiders. There's a whole bunch of different types of dragons. Here's a big tundra spider that I killed earlier. Tundra spider. Huge spider. It's actually very difficult to kill. If I didn't have God mode on, I would have been dead killing that thing, or dead fighting that thing. Okay, so here's another thing. Right up the path here, if we go up here, the road, by the way, looks really good because of immersive roads, which adds brand new road textures, and it also depends on kind of where you're going or where you are in Skyrim. So immersive roads, very cool mod. I like how it's sort of diversified in its textures in the sense that it's like, you know, it's kind of well together here, but then there's like this gap where there's no stone. You kind of wonder why did all the stone go there, and you keep going and going. I think it's nice. As we move this way, we'll see look at these fences. The fences are completely like old and like they look like they're weathered, like they've been through a lot, you know? Not only that, but they're really 3D. This is a combination of things. I think it's called Fences of Skyrim. And on top of Fences of Skyrim, we also have the Static Mesh Improvement mod, or SMIM, as many people call it. Now, these mods and these texture mods and these mesh changes and stuff, you really have to get things in the right order. Otherwise, you start getting things conflicting and then you get crashes. I think I finally figured out the load order stuff. It took a while, but I think I finally figured it out. Okay, now we're going to come up here and you're going to notice this. This is the West Whiterun Hold Barley Dark Border. What does that mean? If you played regular Skyrim, you've never seen this before. If you played vanilla, you don't have this. This little hold border, right? There's like a border, like a random like wall and everything. This isn't a door. Sometimes there's doors. Actually, yeah, there's a gate right here. So I close this gate, right? Just out in the nowhere, just this path has a gate. I don't know how effective it is because you can probably just walk around it, but it's a gate on the path, and there's guards here like hanging out to defend it. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, there's a war going on in Skyrim, right? There's a war. I would think that these settlements, these towns and cities would be protecting their borders a little bit more. If you notice in the vanilla Skyrim, there's this big war going on, but like anyone can just walk into the city whenever they want. So I feel like these hold borders are important. And so I've got them added between the different holds. There's always like a border where there's a guard and you have to look at these signs of Skyrim again, or point the way, sorry. Come up here on this path, and here's another one, right? Another gate. I opened this before, but like if we close it, right? Another gate. This is the gate to Falkreath, right? And there's the flag, right? Falkreath flag right there, telling you, there's a banner telling you where you're about to go, and there's a gate here, and there's an actual Falkreath guard hanging out over here defending the place. I just think that's great. I just think that's so cool, which is going to be great. I have never actually done Skyrim at night yet with this EMB installed, so it might be too dark. So far it looks really good.
Wherever the Daedra hide, the Vigil of Stendarr will cast them into the light.
Yeah. Vigilant Stendarr. Cool. I don't know how the game audio is for you guys, so if the game audio is too quiet and my voice is too loud, that's something that I just cannot monitor with this program. I don't have the ability to monitor that. As far as the question of why the stream during school, this is a random stream. I don't have time to do the stream formally right now, so I'm just doing it randomized. So that's the reason why the stream's during school, is because it's whenever I can do it, and I'm actually wasn't planning on doing it this long already as it is. All right, check this out. Long distance, right? Long range. In vanilla Skyrim, you would never see those lights. You'd never see those lights. Like, in the distance, no way. Same thing with that. Like, there's a fire up there. There's a giant fire up there. I can tell that because I can see the light, right, coming off of this. Look, there's even lights up there. Like, that's High Hrothgar, I think. And there's lights up there. I can see the lights all the way from back here. All the way over here, tons of lights happening from this giant fire. Let's go over here. Now, granted, I have low quality LODs, so it doesn't actually like match up with what it's supposed to be, but still I can tell that there's a big tree here and there's a huge fire here, which is really cool. Lights over there. There's a big fire over there too because I can see the lights. It's very nice. The sky doesn't look too dark. There's still some clouds. Let's see what happens if I go like to the really deep night or like really late at night. I don't know if it'll be too dark. It doesn't actually seem that dark. I almost feel like maybe I should darken it a bit, because I feel like this isn't dark enough. Although I'm getting a lot of light from the sky as well. And there's like this, there's a really small hint of a green tint to the ground because of the light coming off of the sky. So that might be it too. Let's see. What else can I show you guys? Probably need to show it to you. Oh, what's this? Oh, wow. Like random, right? Look at this. This guy is wearing... This is a freaking skeleton, but he's wearing... Alright, well this will give me a chance to show you guys something else. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this, because personally I think it's just a little bit too feminine for a male character. But judging by the responses to the survey so far, which if you want to take part in the survey, go to the last video where I was talking about Skyrim. The last video that I put up. Where it's me talking in front of a camera. Based on that survey results, we're probably going to end up having a female character. But if we end up having a male character, I think a couple of the little animation changes and body movement changes that I put into the game might not work very well. You'll notice how I'm holding the axe. I'm kind of holding it down by my side right now. The actual changes in fighting isn't really all that different, but that's how I'm sort of holding it. And then if I switch to being magic only, which looks like I'm going to need to read that book first. Hang on. Yep. And then we'll go to magic. You'll notice that my spell, I'm actually holding my hands down by my side. One's up by my side, the other one is in front of me. And it's just different spell animations. Different animations for, like, you see I'm a little bit more upright. Maybe you can't see it because of the darkness, but I'm a little bit more upright. Here, I'll just come over by the fire. I don't need to fight these guys. There we go. So I'm a little bit more upright when I cast, rather than being like hunched over. I kind of like. I think that's a little bit more realistic. I think it's a little bit better because it's magic. I mean, granted, I had to put body movement probably in it, but I don't need to be super hunched over for it. There's a few different things there. A giant berserker. Look at that thing. Look at that guy's beard. Immersive creatures, man. I love it. So good. We also have immersive armors, immersive weapons, Amidium-Born's Book of Silence is installed. Just there's a whole bunch of stuff installed. I can't wait until the enemies stop following me. I wanted to wait and get it back to daytime, but I can't. I've also got immersive citizens installed, which is an AI change for the citizens. I've got, what else? Look at it, you can see the fires. Look at all the little fires. All the way over there. Like, what's that over there? I would never see that there's something over there if I had regular vanilla Skyrim. Because I have the LODs installed, I have Dindu LOD installed, and I've generated the level of detail from a distance now. Because I have that, I know that there's light over here, right? There's Veteran's Retreat. Come over here. I know that there's something over here because I saw the light. Of course, it's going to snap out of it a little bit more. Whoop, yeah, here it is. Yeah. It's going to snap out of it a little bit more, you know, because of the level of detail that I have installed is such low quality that to help me with frame rates, that it's not exactly accurate in its intensity. I'm wondering if there's something I can do for that. If I go Lanterns of Skyrim, whoops. No. If I go Lanterns of Skyrim, settings, maybe it's not Lanterns of Skyrim. Maybe it's inside my Vivid Weathers. Might be in Vivid Weathers. Night brightness low. Okay, so like if I think that this night brightness is too bright, I can also adjust that on the fly too. So I've actually lowered it from its default. So if I go Doom, how dark is it? How dark is Doom? Ooh. Oh, so it didn't actually change the brightness. It's just changing... Oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. It changes it to, like, this bleakness. I don't really like that. You guys are probably going to hear a big truck behind me now. Sorry about that. Alright, let's take the night brightness and bring it back to default and see what that looks like. That might be what we want. I don't know. I think it looks good. I think this level of darkness is great because it's nighttime, you know? I mean, it's supposed to be dark. But I wish it was a little darker, to be honest. I think because I'm streaming and because I'm going to be doing a Let's Play for this, I think I'll leave it here. But if I was playing my own, like if I was just playing it for myself, I think I would totally be having it be much, much darker. But it's just the way that is. Leveling up. Sweet. I guess we'll just do magic, I guess. Why not? I'm not really... This isn't the original... This isn't the character we're going to have, by the way. It's just another test stream. Let me take a look at the comments really quick, because I know you guys are probably talking a bunch. There's a whole bunch of you people here. Thank you for joining me, by the way. So, yeah. Quick update for those of you guys who are joining us. This is just a test stream for my mod list. I'm pretty sure it's stable. It hasn't crashed yet, so I'm pretty pumped about that. You notice my movement speed is about 500%. What normal movement speed is. Oh, there's a fence here. That's why I can't move. Oh, there we go. It's about 500% what movement speed normally is. Oh, actually, you know what I need to do? I need to fix the level of detail for the lanterns. I think the lanterns are a bit intense. Yeah, that's a bit intense. I need to see what the setting is for that and turn it down. I might need to reinstall. Might need to reinstall the LODs because that's a little bit too intense. So I'll probably do that. But anyway, I think we're pretty stable here, and I'm getting ready to play the Skyrim Democracy series, which it's not in the description yet because I have no control over the stream's description. I don't think before I start streaming. This NVIDIA GeForce thing doesn't give me any control, at least not from what I can tell. But there's like almost no frame loss. I was getting about 45 frames per second right here before. Actually, it was over here. I was getting about 45 frames per second here before, and now I'm getting 44 instead of 45. 43 now. So like 1 FPS, 2 FPS loss, big deal. I don't care about that. Pretty cool. So GeForce experience is pretty good for streaming if you don't want to lose any quality. Don't want to lose any frame rates. Just not that good for flexibility, as far as I can tell anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. Can I ask this guy to take me to Solitude, or do I have to just run there? Kind of want to see what Solitude's all about. Let's get daytime first, though. I want to see sunrise, actually. Let's go about 6:24 a.m. Let's see. Oh, I kind of missed sunrise, but it's close. It's kind of a dimness. But you'll notice how I'm holding the spell. Right, the shock spell is kind of being held by my side. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the new spell animations. They're kind of cool. If I take a look at like a dagger, for example, if I was to wield a dagger, you know, it just kind of hold it by my side. You know, if I'm sneaking, you'll notice I'm actually taking a knee. I don't know if I like that, but I'm taking a knee when I sneak, and then when I move, it's normal. And again, this is 500% movement speed is on, so I wouldn't normally be moving this fast. But like when I stop moving for a sneak, it takes a knee. Again, I'm not really sure I like that, but luckily this mod is pretty customizable. I can kind of do whatever I want. So what I might do is spell animations from a different mod. I think Magiska. The problem with these spell animations, though, and with these like changes in how the characters stand and stuff, mostly the problem with it is that a lot of modders tend to do them for females. So like, look how I'm running with this dagger. I think this is a bit too feminine for a male character. It maybe not, but I kind of feel like it is. If I take a look at Imperial sword, for example. You'll notice how the sword sheath, it's kind of off my body just a little bit, but there is this like buckle that's kind of holding it down, holding it on. You can kind of see it. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I think the command is like this. Actually, I have no idea how to control it though. Maybe I didn't do that. Or maybe it's TFC. Ah, there we go. So I can actually just use the camera now. So here's my character covered in blood. And yeah, covered in blood. So you see how he holds the sword kind of down here, which I like. I like that. It's more natural, I think, than what it was before. And the spells are kind of held up, and I like that too. I really like that. There's the sheath that he has for his sword is kind of dangling off to his side. It's not resting on his side, which I don't necessarily like that. I wish that would get cleaned up. But I think it's doing that because it's sort of designed, like when they made this mod, I think they sort of designed it to be near, or to be around armor, so they gave a little extra room, a little extra distance there, probably. But there is like this little sort of strap, buckle, like leather strap, if you will, hanging down here too, so that's okay. But when he puts his sword away, watch what he does. He kind of does this like twirl, and he puts it in the seat, and I like that too. So there's some things I like about that mod, some things I don't like about that mod, but it's gonna be okay. I think it'll be all right. Here's another mod, or is it here or is it somewhere else? I think it's, nope, it's down the road. Another mod we have is this building right here. So you guys remember, you know the guy that runs around Skyrim and he's always like, I have a message for you. Looks important or whatever, right? And like the courier that comes and greets you. Well, a mod called Provincial Courier Service a modder has decided to give this guy a home. And so, not just this guy, but like all of the couriers throughout Skyrim, they all have homes now, and they all have, this is his home. This is the courier's home, and there's even a sign here, Provincial Courier Service, with a little sign and like a quill and paper. And of course, the sign is because of Signs of Skyrim, and then it looks good because of the Static Mesh Improvement mod, and then it further looks great because of Blowing in the Wind. So there's a whole bunch of things that make that look good, but there's a whole bunch of things going on with that. But I think it looks pretty nice, and this is the courier's home. And the really cool thing I like about this mod is that I think it adds better immersion, because once the player, like once we own our own home, like once we own Bree's home or wherever we're going, we can actually set it up to where the courier will just deliver stuff to our home rather than finding us in the middle of nowhere, which sounds way, way more realistic and way better. Like, I would rather have things delivered to my home, and then I'll get a little message pop up in there that says, you've had something delivered, and then I can go home and figure it out then and get it then, rather than us being in the middle of nowhere, and then out of nowhere the courier just happens to find us. I never liked that mechanic. So this is going to fix that, and I'm pretty excited about that too. What else we got? We got Real Water 2, which is going to take care of all of our water looks and water physics and waterfalls and steam and all sorts of other stuff there, which is pretty good. You'll notice also, because of, and this is only for those who have never done Din Dulad before, and you've also never installed sky mills and waterfalls, is that the water off in the distance is still flowing. You would never get that in regular Skyrim, in vanilla Skyrim. The water, you can see, is still flowing in that river off in the distance. And the windmill off in the distance is still turning, right? No matter how far away I get from that windmill, it's still gonna move. Isn't that cool? That adds a much better level of immersion. I think those lights are really bright on the lanterns because of the way I did the LODs, so I'm gonna have to redo the LODs. But other than that though, I'm pretty excited about this. It's pretty stable, and everything seems to work pretty well. Is there anything else I want to show people? Apocalypse spells, not really. Deadly Dragons is pretty cool. If you've never heard of Deadly Dragons, it's going to add a whole bunch of different dragons into the game, like a ton of different ones. But it also allows me to make the dragons more deadly, and it introduces a new random event called an Assault. And so dragons will come and assault like a village that you're at, or you know, a settlement that you're on, or whatever. They have these random events that happen very infrequently. They don't happen very often, but when they do, they're potentially deadly. And those assaults, you can choose like what type of assault you want. So right now, by default, just the single dragon assault is on. But I can make it to where 2 or 3 dragons will even come into the mix, right? Weather effects is probably good to have on. Can also turn Unleveler on. That would be really hardcore. I'm probably not going to do it. But Unleveler would basically say that the dragon that spawns randomly for these assaults are not tied to the player's level. Which means I might get a legendary dragon show up to assault where I am when I'm like level 5. Or I might get the easiest dragon when I'm level 60. So, pros and cons to that. Obviously, in the beginning game, when we're just starting out level 2, there's like no situation where Unleveler isn't going to kill you. But like once we get to around 20 or so, level 20, maybe 25, maybe I'll turn this on, because that will make things interesting. That'll make us decide whether or not the dragon that appears, do we want to go after that? Or is it like a fight we can actually win or not? And that's something that I think is pretty cool. Can also do a timer for things. So we can sort of set like a, you know, like how often is the minimum, or set base time for assault. Yeah, so set a random value for the assault timer. The value will be randomly added or subtracted from the base timer. So if I say I want assaults to happen no more than once every, 336 hours. And the randomizer, like how random do we want that to be? Plus or minus, let's say 77 hours, 78 hours. So somewhere within that period of time, give or take a few days, an assault will happen. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not going to turn that stuff on I'm not going to turn deadly dragons or do anything with deadly dragons until we're actually like at least somewhat of a higher level. Maybe like at least 10 or something, just to give us a chance. Otherwise, it's just going to be terrible. Yeah, didn't do LODs here. I need to redo a lot of those LODs. Frostfall. I think you guys are probably familiar with Frostfall. Hypothermia. We have it disabled right now. I'll turn it on. Actually, I probably should test. I've already tested stability with it on, but I probably should have all the scripts running, just so that if there is any stress to the system, it'll happen when all the scripts are running. Unread books glow. I like this mod a lot. I have to go out of the menu completely after turning that on. I like this mod a lot because it allows me to identify books that I've never read. I have the glow on dim, so it's really, really subtle. It's obvious still, but it's not like super blown out like it is by default. But books glow is a great mod, and I actually have it turned off for plain books. So if there's a book glowing, I know that it's either a spell book, a skill book, or a quest book. So there's that. I also have another mod installed called, it's really kind of strange. The mod itself is called Always Pick Up Books, but like the file name and the folder structure and stuff says sometimes pick up books. It's pretty strange. But essentially it allows me to take, and yeah, I activated Frostfall, so now the game's going to undress me and redress me with the warmth criteria on my clothes. Look, it's raining. This is way better rain than vanilla Skyrim. We got lightning now. Whoa! Yes, we've got lightning now. I need to configure that lightning spell because this lightning thing has a tendency to always land right next to you, and I think that breaks immersion. So I'm going to take the minimum distance to be 1 cell, and I'm going to have the maximum distance be all the way out. So it can be really close to us or it can be really far away. And I like that much better. We can also make lightning be hostile. What that means is it will actually cause damage to whatever it hits. Right now it's just kind of a cosmetic effect and there's some sound, but if I turn it hostile, it'll actually give damage, which means if it hits a person, hits me, hits an enemy, hits an NPC, maybe it's somebody important even, it will do damage to them and potentially kill them. If it hits a building, it will actually catch that building on fire and it'll have to be put out and things like that. So that's something we can look into too. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Force weather, I don't know what that does, but yeah, a whole bunch of settings. Immersive citizens, like I said before, armors, creatures, lanterns of Skyrim, we know that before. NPC Knockout Overhaul. This is a mod that lets us knock people out instead of kill them. So if we are like in a building and we're trying to be stealthy with things, maybe we just knock somebody out. We don't have to kill them, you know? I never liked that about Skyrim, is like the mission is to steal that thing in that house over there. But in order to be a thief, you also have to kill 3 people in your way so that you don't get caught. I never liked that. I always thought that if you were trying to be a thief and not a murderer, then, you know, you would probably not want to kill people. So this mod is going to let us knock them out. So essentially how that works is when we hit them from the back, from behind, we can have a weapon on us, and if it doesn't kill them, then, you know, if the weapon's too strong and it kills them, then it kills them. But if it doesn't kill them when I hit them with that weapon, it will gauge what my current strength is, the strength of the weapon, how much damage it did, where on their body I hit them. Was I being stealthy at the time? Was I discovered? All those things it'll take into account, and it has a chance to knock them out instead. And then they'll wake up in an hour, something like that. But it takes them out of the game. It takes them away from me so that I don't have to deal with them, but I still don't have to kill them either. And then they'll wake up really groggy and wondering what the hell happened, and that's great. I like that a lot. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. A whole bunch of stuff here. Wearable lanterns. This is cool. So when you go into a dark cave, and I don't know how well that will work with our Let's Play, because I'm not sure it'll be necessary, just because I'm trying to do it to where you guys can see in the dark. But wearable lanterns is a cool thing because it lets us actually wear the lantern on our belt. And so we'll have light. Instead of like having to hold a torch and like use a whole item slot on a torch, you can have it on your hip, and there's this light emitting from your hip. That's pretty cool. And that works with Lanterns of Skyrim and stuff as well too, which is kind of cool. There's ways to like do hotkeys for all this stuff, and I don't know why escape would be the hotkey for this by default, but apparently it is. Okay. And we can also, there's a whole bunch of settings to this stuff, guys. Different profiles. It's great. Wet and cold. Very cool mod. Actually makes my clothing be wet when it's raining, when I'm in the water. I actually start to drip. So will NPCs. It also, if I actually, you know what I can do is if I go, let's multiply my speed by 1,000. And let's turn the, oh, we got lightning going. I'm going to take and, now another mod I was going to do, I'm just going to go really quick. Another mod I was going to do, but I'm not going to do, I was going to, but I'm not going to anymore, is Open Cities. This is a very popular mod. Most people are aware of what it is. In fact, this is one of the first original mods that's coming to the Xbox One when you guys get it on Xbox. Open Cities is already ported to Xbox. It's already working on Xbox. It allows you to skip the loading screens between going through the city gates and going from outside it. The game will load the city's interiors before you get there. So when I walk through the gate, the city would just be working. Unfortunately, I'm not going to use that, and there's reason I'm not going to use it is because I also have a mod called Immersive Patrols, Populated Roads and Paths. I have mods in place that will make the Civil War be much more immersive, much more deadly. There'll be random fights between the two factions. There's additional factions that have been put into the game that they'll have other fights too. And all of these things are incorporated into patrols. The problem with that is NPC pathing for patrols may also take them through cities, because the cities will now be considered part of the general world space rather than being part of the city space. So those patrols will go through cities, and the problem with that is if those patrols are rather large, and they can sometimes be 40 people big. They're going to be pretty huge. If they go through the city and that city is technically with like city guards, for example, they don't like soldiers from outside factions other than themselves. So if a whole group of Stormcloaks go through Windhelm, that's not a big deal, you know, whatever. But if those same Stormcloaks go through Falkreath, or they go through Whiterun, then there will be a huge fight will break out. A whole bunch of people will die. Town guards will die. Soldiers will die. NPCs will die. And it's just kind of like, I don't really want them. Like, I feel like those soldier patrols wouldn't just go through a city. you know, maybe not a city like Whiterun because there's only one way in and out, so it's not really that big of a deal. But a city like Falkreath or Markarth, Riverwood, these are cities that are kind of like open, and you know, you don't have to load them anyway, so patrols are still going to go through those. But anyway, so I've decided not to have Open City Skyrim. The loading times for my SSD are really negligible anyway, so I don't really care. So anyway, let's run through these trees. Huge trees. For some reason, the textures didn't load. Oh, because I'm running at 1,000 times speed, Charlie, that's why. Whoa. Yeah, running at 1,000 times speed, you can kind of get a little out of control sometimes. Alright, I'm looking for... It's not loading the textures. There it goes. Load, load, load. There we go. This is Morthal. This is another one of those cities that have been changed from enhanced cities and towns. Pretty cool. I like how the water is really still here, and you can like see the boat through the water. That's kind of nice. Like, why would there be a huge current? Right? There's no current here. Why would there be a huge current? Real water too. It's really cool. Where is Windhelm? I want to see where Windhelm is. That's over here. Wow, I'm really far away from Windhelm. I went entirely the wrong direction. That's great. Let's go that way. And if I just run straight that way and it crashes, then I know it. I mean, we've been running around for quite a while so far, 15-20 minutes so far, and it hasn't crashed. And it's because I'm not reaching the 4 GB VRAM limit. That's stupid. It's Windows 12 only, or Windows 10 and Windows 8 only. If you're running the game in Windows 7, you're not limited by that. So if you have a 980 Ti like I do, with 6 GB of VRAM, you can use all 6 GB. Not a big deal. You can't go over 4 GB of actual RAM because it's a 32-bit application. But you can also get around that with EM Boost or EMB. But on Windows 10, there's no way around the 4 GB VRAM limit. So I'm actually running at around 3.6 right now. I'm giving myself a little bit of room, a little bit of cushion for preventing crashes. But okay, so you can see kind of we got some stuff going sideways with us here. I'm going to go down to the docks. This is one of the script heavy, really heavy areas of the game. And this is a place where people usually stress test their game because it's really heavy. Still got some storms happening over here. That's kind of nice. So take a look at the Argonians. I want to show you guys these Argonians. If I can get my speed is too fast. There we go. All right. I want to show you guys the Argonians. If I can get this guy to talk to me.
By the hist, if I don't get something soon, I don't know how I'll get through the week.
He's kind of got hoods and... Yeah, he's kind of got stuff on, but I've changed...
Need something.
I've changed what Argonians look like. And their skin, there's a variety of different skin textures for different Argonians now. They actually have a little bit differentiation in their hairstyles even, or I guess tentacle styles, or whatever you want to call them. There's a whole bunch of different variations now. A lot more detail in their skin. And really, this is Cloaks of Skyrim. There's some immersion with the cloaks and everything. And the NPCs are more likely to wear these warm clothing as you get out into like the weather. So as you get out to areas where it's snowing all the time, NPCs like guards even are more likely to wear warm clothing. So you see this guard here has like a headscarf on. He's still got exposed arms and legs, kind of, but you know, whatever. It is what it is there. Come down here. This guard over here has a cloak, as well as, and the cloak actually has the faction, right? He's a Windhelm guard. He's got this little wolf on the back. There's a helmet. Here's some more Argonians here.
Skyrim isn't very friendly for Argonians.
Female
Shari knows
Argonian.
the dock doesn't look nice, but fresh air is good for the
I kind of
day.
wanted to see a Khajiit, but it's okay.
I enjoyed our talk.
So you guys get it. I've retextured a lot of things. I've redone the faces, right? Faces have a lot more detail. You can see his beard. The faces just generally look way better now. eye textures. There's textures for their eyebrows. There are people who did mods specifically for eyebrows. It's like, what are you doing? I don't know. That's just what I wanted to do.
Is cold.
The docks. I had the option to do it, and I don't know if I will. I might. I have the option to actually have these boats bob up and down, like they're in the water for real, you know? The problem with the bobbing up and down, though, is that the stuff on the inside, the barrels and stuff that are inside the boats, they don't bob up and down with the boat. So they kind of stay put, and the boat will bob up and down. The people who are on the boat will kind of bob up and down, but the stuff that's on the boat doesn't bob. It's kind of weird. I don't really like that much, but... So that's why that's not installed yet, because I just don't want things that look weird. I mean, there are going to be things that look weird anyway. It's Skyrim, but I want to limit that as much as I can. And this is Frostfall. My exposure is increased. All sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff to consider. We have Campfire. I'm pumped, guys. I'm pumped for Skyrim. I am. I think I'm gonna play the remastered version on Friday night. Just gonna kind of see what it looks like. We're gonna play around with it, and maybe we'll go and do like a couple of quests or something for Friday night. Look at that. Details, man. Better hair textures, better eye details, skins. You can even see like the little imperfections in the pores. The skin tones, more importantly, match the rest of the body now. So they're not like these different colored faces than there is. You see this in vanilla Skyrim all the time. The faces sometimes have a completely different tone of skin than the rest of the body. I'm not actually wearing gloves. For whatever reason, it's decided to render the blood effects on my hands only. So that's kind of a weird thing. I'm not sure why that happened, but... And he's even breathing. It's cold. He's even breathing. That's wet and cold effects right there. Alright, it's cold here, so you can see his breath. Very cool. All the wood textures are changed. I can't climb this still. I always want to climb up to the top of this just because it looks like it'd be fun, but I don't. I can't. It doesn't let me. Another thing to keep in mind is I don't have... One of the things I was really adamant about having as a mod for this playthrough was Civil War Overhaul. I was very... Oh, yeah, we're freezing. I wonder if I'll still die. Will I still die from the elements if I have God mode on? I don't know if I will. But one of the things I was really adamant about having before was Civil War Overhaul. Completely overhauls the entire Civil War. I said it in the last video that I put out about this stream. I said that I'm not going to use it, and I'm still not. Just because of all the problems it introduces, the complexities and changes that it makes, as well as it really takes your attention off of the rest of the game, and I'm not really into that as well. But the other reason is just, obviously, just because the developer of that mod has decided to close his entire mod list until the election's over, which is just really bizarre, but whatever. So I wanted the Civil War to really feel like a living, breathing thing, and that's kind of what Civil War Overhaul does, but oh, my vision's gonna be blurry because my vision's gonna be blurry because I'm cold. That's what happens with the camera effects. So if you're looking at it, it's blurry. It's not your eyes. It's not the video. It's the mod. It's making everything blurry. My hands are now frostbitten. Take a look at my... I think it's in Magic, actually, yeah. Take a look at what Frostfall is doing to me right now. I'm damp. My exposure increases. I'm freezing to death right now. I've negative 75% health, magicka, and stamina regeneration, negative 60 archery, one-handed, two-handed block, sneak, speech, and all magicka skills. Negative 100 pickpocket and lockpicking because I'm freezing to death. I also have frostbite on my hands. Negative 10 archery, block one-handed and two-handed, negative 30 pickpocket. So like there's no way I can do anything right now. Right? Negative 60 archery, one-handed, two-handed. And then this here adds another negative 10 to it. So I wouldn't be able to do anything until I got warm. That's what Frostfall does to you. The part I don't like about Frostfall is that it's only happening to me. This guy is totally fine.
I own Hollyfrost Farm outside the city. It's honest work, if a bit dull.
I don't like that. I wish it affected everybody. I understand why it doesn't, because it would be ridiculous how many scripts would have to run it simultaneously. It'd be so CPU heavy to calculate all these effects on all these different NPCs. But it's one of the reasons why I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to use Frostfall. And if I do use Frostfall, it will be like this. This is how I'll do it if I'm going to do it. I'd go to Frostfall, go to the overview, gameplay. I already have the exposure rate at 0.7, which is okay because like I don't have a whole lot of coverage right now and I just got out of the water from swimming. So it makes sense that I would be doing this now. But I would be taking this exposure down. I would offset the balance of doing that by making the exposure be death instead of being randomly rescued and transported someplace. But like I would offset this with death, so maybe I would actually probably take this down to like 0.6. That would be how I offset this. That way I have to pay attention to it, but it's not like something it's not like the only thing I'm paying attention to. The problem with mods like Frostfall is that you're not playing Skyrim anymore. You're playing Frostfall. I mean, the problem with Frostfall is that it adds great immersion, it adds realism because you have to, weather the elements and make sure you're warm. But the problem, the big problem is that you end up paying so much attention to that you don't pay attention to everything else, and it kind of starts to get a little annoying when you're in the middle of a cave or something and you succumb to exposure. Yeah, you succumb to exposure. That message means I died, but because I have you succumb to exposure, I'm gonna keep succumbing to exposure and dying. I'm gonna that's gonna keep happening because I have God mode on, so I can't actually die. If I turn God mode off, I bet I die right away. Here we go. Ready? It's gonna happen. Ready for me to succumb to exposure? Oh wait, I didn't die yet. Oh, there it goes. I was like, why didn't I die yet? So that's it, guys. That's the mod list. It's not the whole mod list. I have other things too, like Inigo as a follower. Inigo is awesome. Like if you've never heard of Inigo before, you're in for a real treat. Inigo's probably my favorite follower of all time. It's the only follower mod I have installed because it's just absolutely amazing. And that's pretty much it. Footprints, just puts footprints behind you in the snow, that kind of thing. Complete crafting overhaul. This is a mod that changes the crafting system quite a bit. It adds a whole bunch of different requirements for crafting things. So like if in the base game in vanilla, if you had say 3 steel bars or 3 steel ingots or 2 steel ingots or something, you could make a sword. That's cool. Make a sword. Crafting overhaul is going to change that to where you can make a sword, but now you also need a couple of other supplies that would go with that. Like for instance, you need some wood because you have a handle, right? Or maybe the handle is not made of wood, maybe it's also made of iron, but you have some stuff wrapped around it for grip. So you're gonna need that supply. You'll need some rope or some leather straps now. You'll need some different things. You might need, if I'm gonna make, like, for instance, let's see, if I go, let's just turn my God mode back on for a second. I wish I wasn't cold. I need to get out of the cold. Let's have this guy take us someplace.
Yes?
That's the guard. I need the guy that actually runs the carriage. You.
Need a ride? The carriage is the safest way. Where do you want to go?
I want to go someplace warm. How about Falkreath? That sounds pretty
Climb
warm.
and back, and we'll be off.
At least warmer than here. It's Skyrim, so it's not really warm, but...
Oh, steady.
What else? What else, guys? There's so much to talk about. There's so many things installed. I'd like to see my mod list on my other screen, but... I also have, like I said, I have EMB. I have an EMB. This is Vividian. Vividian, it goes with vivid weathers and vivid clouds and like the vivid textures even. I have vivid landscapes installed. It works with that stuff so well. Like now I'm really I'm dehydrated, I'm really tired, I'm really hungry. Let's take a look at what this is going to do. This is realistic needs and diseases. So realistic needs and diseases it requires me to sleep, to stay rested. I also need to sleep in order to I'll level up my skills and stuff. It requires me to drink regularly and eat regularly, and if I don't do that, I start getting debuffs. Magicka stamina regeneration at negative 90% when I'm thirsty. Time between shouts plus 50%, so I can't shout as often, And my spells are also, when I do cast them, they're 50% less effective. Huge debuff for being dehydrated. Of course, it takes a while to get dehydrated, but still. If I'm tired and haven't slept in a while, I can't carry as much. And my skills are also going to improve slower. And if I'm very hungry, there's a lot of different tiers to hunger. But if I'm very hungry, my health and stamina regeneration negative 60%. My sneak is also harder to do, or it's also harder to sneak up on people. And my attack does less damage. This will also compound with Frostfall's effects. So I have to manage both my thirst, my hunger, my rest. I have to rest, but I also have to stay warm. There's a whole bunch of things. I'm really looking forward to that level of immersion, that level of detail requirements, I guess you could say, in this game. It's gonna be great. What else is there? Falkreath has been redesigned as well. Look at the wood textures. I love the wood textures that's on this. This is you know what? I forget what mod this is. Mod list will be in the description of this stream as soon as it's live. As soon as I'm able to go and edit it, it will be in the description, and you'll be able to see it. It's not yet because I can't control the stream. Look at the wood texture. That is nice. See, now the wind is blowing, and we've got like these little bits of pine needles and stuff blowing across the screen because all the pine trees, right? Look at that. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. The game just looks beautiful. This is why I'm not going to be doing the remastered for the playthrough. Because why? When you can get a stable game to look this good,
Mom says I'm getting a
why
new
do the
one
remaster?
already.
There's no point.
So I'll have 2 of each.
The only point is the fact that it's remastered already, and it's got, okay, I won't have the volumetric lighting. I won't have the god rays. Okay. But I have a better weather system. I have things like Frostfall and Realistic Diseases. I have Deadly Dragons, Percus Maximus, the crafting overhaul. I can do the Papyrus script, so I can do Din Dulad. I can have generated textures. I can do Blowing in the... I think Blowing in the Wind is actually script free. Oh, here's orcs. Right? Look at this guy. He's got war paint on. Oh, I wanted to see... Is this guy an orc too?
Aye.
Yeah. Look at the facial diversity, you know, between that orc and this orc. I guess there's not really all that much diversity between those two, but yeah, it's cool. It is what it is. I think I'm good, guys. I think I'm good. I think this is going to be great. Really looking forward to playing Skyrim. It's going to be a very long series. Very long. But it's going to be worth it. The worms. Alright, comment time. Let's see if I can address some comments. So many things. Let's see. I see your shadows. That's got to be a long time ago. So this is not Skyrim Remastered, for the numerous people that asked. Not Skyrim Remastered, but it looks way better than your normal Skyrim because of all the mods that are installed, the EMB, the texturing. It looks great. My system specs are in the description by default, I guess. It does that by default. When I start streaming with NVIDIA's Gamecaster, I guess that's just kind of what it does. Let's see. It's definitely superior to Skyrim Remastered. You will not see this level of detail in Skyrim Remastered. Skyrim Remastered has a lot of 1K textures. Most of them are 512, to where the normal Skyrim has almost all 512s, and some of them are 256. This playthrough has about half of the textures as 2K textures, and the rest of them are 1K. So you're going to have twice as sharp even on the little things, even on things like that little shrub right there. And you'll get things blowing in the wind, and we'll get even like... I still want open face guard helmets. I still like open face guard helmets, but it's conflicting with my other stuff, so I can't have it. It is what it is. What else we got here? Tweak, Mystic Knight animation mod, correct? Yes, Mystic Knight animation mod is the one that I'm using. It's YY Mystic Knights. That is the one I'm using for this. Hold on, I'll show you. Sparks. Let's do TFC. Turns on free cam, and now I can move the camera. So the reason why my guy is standing like this by default with weapons and with spells is because of, yeah, the Mystic Knights animation mod. I don't know if I like it for male characters. If we end up having a male character, I don't know if I'll use this one. I might try to find a different one. But most of these animation mods, most of these things that change behaviors are kind of tuned to female characters. The mod makers themselves made them for female characters because, I don't know, they wanted CBBE body. They wanted the UMP bodies where they're all like super exaggerated features. And they wanted them to be in nice skimpy outfits for them to stand a certain way. And that's just why they made the mod. And I get that. I understand that. I don't have any of those mods installed, but I thought I'd give this one a try because it looked really interesting. And I like what it does for spell casting. I kind of like what it does for, so, notice he's this is what it looks like when you are sneaking and you crouch. I don't like the fact that the sword goes into the ground, but that's just kind of what it is. It's cool. What else? I don't think there's anything else really left to say about that. I just like the way he stands. I might try, if we do have a female character, what I'll probably do is I'll have both this one and Magiska. Magiska is another one of these animation mods, but what it does, and there's more to this. There's more to this mod than just standing here. When you cast spells, it looks different. When you cast different types of spells will look different. So like if I'm casting an illusion spell or I'm casting an alteration spell, my hands will do different things. This just happens to be what I'm standing with a destruction spell. This just happens to be what it looks like with the spark spell. And then when I cast a master level spell, it also changes. My body will actually float up in the air in some of these instances, so it's pretty cool. But Magiska adds more to it. It does a lot more. But again, Magiska is pre-tuned to female characters. So I don't know what we'll have so far with the results coming in from the votes, which visit hottipsmedia.com right now if you want to vote. This is a live series, so every episode of this playthrough is going to be recorded live. This is not something that I'm going to record ahead of time and then upload for you. It's going to be recorded live. You'll get input during the live broadcast, just like you can here. I haven't been paying attention to comments this stream because I've been testing mods. But during the course of the stream, the entire point of the Skyrim Democracy series is getting your feedback and doing what you guys want as a collective, as a vote. So the episodes are recorded live. There'll probably be maybe numerous episodes of the series will be recorded in one stream. The streams will probably last between 2 and 3 hours each. And throughout that course of that, I will then edit together pieces of that stream into a smaller video and then upload that as the actual series. So when you look at the series playlist, you'll see the edited videos for the series. But if you catch one of the live streams, then you'll get input. And you'll get to, what quest are we going to do now, guys? Or do we want to go do this? Do we want to go do that? Are we going to join the Stormcloaks? Are we going to join the Imperials, etc., etc.? And I'm going to largely base a couple of different things. Some of this is going to be based on the backstory, which again, hottipsmedia.com. If you go to there right now, you can read the backstory, how the series is going to be formed, the introduction to the series, as well as there's a link to the mod list, which is not updated as of recording this video, or as of streaming right now. It's not updated, but it will be updated by the time this goes live for everyone to see later on. So if you're watching this after the stream, link in the description will take you to the page I'm talking about right now, which has the mod list. There's also, if you look through that page, there's updates. There's update 1 at the top, which has the mod list link. There's also an update 2 at the bottom. Update 2 bring you to another place where we have a, lack of a better term, it's a poll, essentially. It's a survey. It's a form you can fill out. It's very simple questions. If you've played Skyrim before, it's pretty simple. If you've never played Skyrim before, the questions are asked in a way, some of them are anyway, are asked in a way that won't really depend on you having previous knowledge of the series or previous knowledge of the game to answer them. I'm taking votes that way. You submit your vote. I take votes that way, and I'm putting them all together. And so far, it looks like, which is kind of weird, kind of in the middle, actually. It's about 60-40 balance, female to male characters. Most people want us to incorporate illusion magic, which is interesting, okay? A lot of people are also kind of tied right now to whether we're going to be... you can choose multiple races. When you're voting for races, you can choose multiple races. Right now, we're actually tied between a Khajiit and a Breton. I think they probably chose Breton. A lot of them chose Breton because of they wanting magic, which is good. There's also descriptions on each of these races which give particular bonuses depending on your playstyle. So if you want us to be heavy in magic, but you give us a race that's not very good with magic, might be a challenge, but also needlessly a challenge, I guess. Maybe it won't go good with our story. But anyway, so that's details on that, and I hope you guys can, you know, kind of converse that way. What else we have going on here? Run us through what mods he has and some of the settings, as well as crashing. Blood gloves. Yeah, it was a rendering problem. Wet and cold sometimes will do that. If you have blood on your hands, the enhanced blood effects is a cool mod. It lets blood linger on your clothes and your skin and stuff for a while, but sometimes wet and cold will overwrite the blood textures because it's trying to make your skin look wet, or it's trying to make your, you know, put snow on your clothes or something. And for whatever reason, it doesn't do the hands, and so you end up with enhanced blood effects on your hands, but the rest of your body is with wet and cold. It's just the way it is. I don't think they do the hands because there's so much happening with the hands of a character, grabbing swords, doing spells, etc. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes it happens. Reloading the game, or in this case, dying and then coming back, it fixes it because the blood effects are gone. Let's see. There's sync problems, synchronization problems. Really? I hope not. But again, this is a stream that. I don't know. I don't have total control over the details of it. So I don't know. I might choose a different streaming application. We'll see. I don't know. I just love how he spins the sword before he puts it in the sheath. I think that's great. What else? What else, guys? I'm looking through your comments. When I get to the bottom of your comments, I'm going to end the stream. Get some lightning off in the distance. That's cool. I haven't done anything with horses. Some people recommended immersive horses. I don't know if I like that, because the horses, yeah, cool, sometimes it'll follow you, but like you can whistle and get it back. I don't know. I mean, it works in The Witcher, but I don't know if it works in Skyrim. I'm not really I don't know if I'm into that yet. I don't know if I'm into that. Look at that tree. Look at the texturing on that tree. My tree textures are all 1K. I wanted them to be 2K, but my tree textures are all 1K, only because there's so many damn trees. It's gonna kill my frame rates. I only have one 980 Ti. I've been considering upgrading my graphics card to a 1070. Been considering it. I might even go for a 1080, but I'd have to sell my 980 Ti in order to justify that cost. So if anyone's interested in buying an ASUS GTX 980 Ti Matrix card, it's the fastest 980 Ti in the world. Actual for model-wise, 980 Ti. It's the fastest out-of-the-box 980 Ti in the world. I currently am running this game. This entire stream has been running and being encoded by that graphics card, overclocked to 1530 megahertz. It's a pretty good. Its A6 score is 78%, so it's a pretty damn good card. If you want it, it's available for sale. If you want it, I don't know. Let's say 500 plus shipping. Sure. You can buy it if you want to. I have it for sale. If you end up buying it from me, I'll you know, it's the one rendering all this stuff. So if you're like, oh, I want this graphics, I want to be able to run these stuff. Well, the 980 Ti is doing it right now, while at the same time streaming it to you, and while at the same time compressing and converting the video. So it's able to do a whole bunch of stuff. It's got hardware acceleration, CUDA cores, whole bunch of stuff. Okay, sale speech over. Let's see. What's the vote pad? Gloves are still funny. I don't know. Still. Why don't you make peace in the two factions? Well, eventually, peace is settled by one of the sides killing the other side's leader. Essentially, peace. Eventually, the war can end. It can. If you play the game that way, it can end. The really cool thing about Skyrim is that there's so much to do that there is no like one way to play it. There's so much to do that you never really do it all. And I love that about that. Speaking of doing it all, I also have a bunch of different quest mods installed. We're going to be expanding the game with a whole bunch of quest mods. Moon and Star, Worm's Tooth, False Scar, Helgen Reborn. I've got The Forgotten City. I've got Moon Paths to Elsewhere. There's a couple other ones too. Undeath. There's a couple other ones I'm forgetting, but like there's a whole bunch of quest mods installed right now too, and it's all stable. So yeah, we'll be doing so much stuff. There's like this series could easily go on for 2 years. It'll be great. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go back to work. I still have a considerable amount of work to do. I've streamed for about twice as long as I planned to do. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. I'm still looking in the comments and I'm seeing gotta get the Titan X, like the new Titan X, because the new Titan X is not worth it. Titans, this isn't my opinion, right? Titans are not worth the money, period. Don't buy a Titan X, like, not worth the money. And here's my rationale behind it. The Titan X is what, $1,300? It runs at a clock speed that is very similar to the 1080. There's virtually no difference in performance. And the thing about that is, sure, you get 12 gigabytes of VRAM, but what do you need 12 gigabytes of VRAM for? What do you need it for? Like, what game requires 12? There is no game that requires 12. So instead of doing that, much better use of that money. Let's say your budget is $1,300 and that's why you're buying a Titan X, right? Much better use of that money is to spend $730 on a 1080 and then spend another spend $700 on a 1080 and then maybe spend another $700 on a 1080 and go 1080 SLI. If the game doesn't support SLI, you're getting very similar performance to the Titan X anyway, because your boost clock and core clocks are all basically the same as the 1080 is anyway. The overclocking potential of the 1080 has been proven to be a very good card. It's going to exceed Titan X's performance in numerous games already, but that's okay, because even if it doesn't exceed it, you still paid half the price for it. And if the game does support SLI, then you've just crushed the Titan X completely. And you still have 8 gigabytes of VRAM. What do you need a Titan X for? It is, I feel like the Titan X is NVIDIA's way of saying, look what we can do. But it's just stupid to buy it. I just feel like it's just stupid to buy it. My 980 Ti crushes the former Titan X. My buddy has a Titan X. Mine crushes his in what do you call it? Benchmarks. Crushes his. My Unigine Valley score is like 300 points higher than his. My Unigine, what is that other test with the ship and stuff? I forget what it's called, Village or something. The other one with I forget what it is, but we did another test, 500 points higher than him. This is all the same settings, running at 4K, max anti-aliasing, everything. Completely crushes him. We did a 1440p test with no anti-aliasing, ultra settings, nearly 1,000 points higher than his card. And he's overclocked his as well. The only way his card beat mine in any of the benchmarks, we did an Alien vs Predator benchmark, which honestly, the Alien vs Predator benchmark is not that intensive anyway, but we did a 4K benchmark with Alien vs Predator. His beat mine by 100 points. Only because his was the overclock. He had his overclock on. I didn't turn my overclock on. I never ran my afterburner, MSI afterburner. And I was like, oh, I didn't turn it on. So then I turned my overclock on and then I whooped his ass. 980 Ti even crushes the old Titan X, and now the 1080 crushes the new Titan X. You don't need the Titan X. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like half the price and it's basically the same performance. You don't need the extra 4 gigabytes of VRAM. Let's see. So anyway, I think I'm done. It's gone on long enough. We're kind of done sampling mods. If you've missed the beginning part of the stream, sorry. You can come back and watch this in the beginning if you'd like. We had a little bit of technical detail, a little bit of technical problems, but I think I found a Gamecaster that will allow me to cast without losing frame rates. And that's a pretty important thing for me because if I'm going to have this be a quality series, I need to be able to do it without any loss in frame rates. Now the next thing I have to figure out, now that I'm able to stream without really losing any FPS, now I need to figure out how to record while I stream without losing any FPS. That'll be a challenge. And I look forward to trying and conquering that challenge next time. So, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your feedback. And, yeah. There's not really any more questions in the comments yet. So, okay, cool. Like the stream if you like it. The link in the description will come as soon as I'm done streaming. I'm going to update things and put the link in the description, so look for that. Or you don't need to look for it. Just go to hottipsmedia.com and you'll see it right at the top of the site. There's a link there. I am going to get back to work. I have a whole bunch of work to do for my job, and then I think tomorrow morning I'm going to basically do nothing for the first half of the day except play Kerbal Space Program, because I promised you guys that I would have a Kerbal episode this week, and I don't like going back on my promises. So I'm going to be playing like a lot of Kerbal tomorrow, trying to get an episode done. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. I have no idea whether or not there's a latency on the stream, so I'm going to kind of just say bye and then look at you really awkwardly until the stream ends, because I'm not entirely sure how to end the stream. So I'll do that. Bye-bye. I can't do this. I'm not going to do that. Let's just do it this way. Bye-bye. How do I do it?